This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by
Summers.farm.com. Summers.farm.com.
What tragedies, what horrors.
I get a little bit of grief in the liberty community sometimes over my qualified admiration of Winston Churchill. No, of course I don't like everything he did, but one thing he was very good at was using the pen to diffuse situations. One of my favorite documents of all time is the note he wrote to the Japanese around 1940. It was aimed at delaying or preventing a Japanese attack on the British. He didn't tell them or ask them to do anything. He didn't make any threats. He just asked questions. These questions were designed to make them think and recalculate.
Officer, this is more powerful than that gun you got.
Nowadays, the main threats that face Britons and Americans come from their own governments. The most egregious example in the United States is probably represented by the Transportation Security Administration. Once a slightly tolerable institution, it has degenerated. It's become an institution conducting legalized child molestation and unprosecutable child pornography through the naked body scanners. Here are some questions that TSA personnel and administrators should be asking themselves as they perpetrate this process on Americans. What would you do if demonstrators showed up outside your house with signs that describe what you do, or perhaps pictures of you doing it? What will you do if you were arrested for DUI or domestic violence or something like that, and your cellmates ask you what you do for a living?
But having the freedom to fly taken away from me to travel in this.
What are the chances that the opposition to your institution will go away? How likely or unlikely is it that a government will eventually come to power that prosecutes you for what you did? Are you aware that a bill has already been submitted and not killed, which would turn you into a felon for what you do and place you on a sex offender registry? How likely do you think it is that the authorities are being completely honest with you regarding the health threats posed by those naked body scanners you're working close to? Was the initial information they put out accurate? What will you do when the federal dollars you're paid in are worth 25% what they're worth today? How many terrorists has your institution caught? How many harmless people has your institution hurt? What is the difference between TSA pat-downs of children and child molester attacks on children? Other than the fact that you force taxpayers to pay for your process. I raise these questions not necessarily to demonize you, although I guess a little demonization is probably okay at this point. The real purpose is to give you a chance to think and urge you to act. What do you think is the maximum amount of resistance or disobedience you can get away with inside the TSA? Can you secretly limit the places your hands go to less controversial areas of the body? Can you secretly perform a whistleblowing function? What other ideas can you come up with that will enable you to answer the hard questions that will come up after Washington's cruel reign is over? If you are engaging in such resistance, have you kept documented proof of your activities? When this is over, Will you be able to convince the good guys you were on their side?
You got a shirt, sir?
Yeah.
Can you put a shirt on, please?
Seed saving, orchard care, companion planting, and butchery. Do you have skills in these areas or a desire to learn them? Samizdat near the gorgeous White Mountains is looking for a farm manager. Maybe looking for you. Vermiculture, companion care, food preservation. Those are other skills that would help. Give them a shout and see if you're a match for this entrepreneurial mid-sized farm in New Hampshire. Sums.farm.com, sums.farm.com.